PREIshare is the latest startup in the real estate syndication space.
Our mission is to create transparency, provide liquidity, and offer market intelligence that can help you succeed at a higher level.
To get involved, join our PREIshare sponsored Facebook group.
Together, we can raise the standard.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Christion Sadler here, and I am coming to you from the home studio / office. And I just wanted to give some insights on the fund because we are officially launching the fund. Pretty excited. We already have some pretty good commitments as far as money into the fund. And so I just wanted to give a little bit more insight because I'm actually going to be recording a fund pitch video today that will go into our online system for those that are wanting to go through the process and find out more about what we're doing. And so I just wanted to come on in here for a live and share with you guys some of the key insights of the fund overall so you can understand what we're doing here with PREIshare. So the first thing is really, where are we coming from? Why PREIshare in the first place, and why are we launching a fund? So if you understand PREIshare's core concepts, it's all about creating transparency and liquidity for the passive investor and for the real estate sponsors, the real estate syndicators. And this comes from the minds of some individuals that have over 40 years in the business of syndicating real estate transactions. And they have bridged multiple asset classes. Majority of what they've done has been in the multifamily space, and it's been across the country, but they've also done self-storage and other assets as well. In fact, our CEO, Mike Anderson, started way back in the day with shopping centers of all things. And back then it was all about the post-tax yield. And so it's so amazing to hear about some of the stories, but I digress. Because what it comes down to is, with his experience, there were some things that he saw in the industry that he wished were different, that he wished that there were solutions for. So after some mulling it over and talking with other colleagues that have been in the business like him, he said, you know what? There's a business to be built out of solving these problems. And that's when he started assembling us as a team. Now, the fund itself, what's so unique about it is, by solving those problems, we put ourselves in such a unique category as far as investing. When you think about the type of people that are investing millions of dollars and hoping for somebody else to return them a rate of return, it usually comes down to the first core principle that they're going to be looking at is, I want to hear about return of my investment before I hear about return on my investment. And that's where one of our key focuses, our key principles of success, if you will, is, and you guys can probably see me looking at my notes, reduced risk through diversification. Now you think about, everybody says that they're diversified in one way or another, right? And think about this though, if you could be diversified across real estate markets, meaning geographies, across asset classes, so the different types of real estate, and I guess also asset classes as far as A, B, C class properties, right? And you're also going to be diversified across sponsors, because we are investing into short cycle investing into other people's transactions. We get to leverage the influence and the expertise of these other investors in the market who are dedicated to their field. And so it's so cool when I get to host the Fundication show and I get to bring these guys on, and many of them have $500 million or even over $1 billion in assets under management. And usually they're in their specific niche, be that multifamily or self-storage or whatever it is. And so we get to leverage their expertise and utilize the rates of return that they're generating. But we also, because of one of our core principles, is we're getting opportunistic rates of return. So we get to leverage their expertise, but we get paid more than just any standard investor. because we deploy equity in very specific ways. And by deploying that equity only at those times when it's most needed, we are able to essentially ask for and receive, gratefully receive, a higher rate of return on that investment. It's also short cycle investing. We're usually investing into a transaction late into the deal. So if we're buying a fractional share of somebody's syndicated transaction, we're usually buying into it late stage. And so therefore, we're going to see the equity multiples and the returns come back to us much sooner. So you get this compounding effect within the fund. And then the other thing you get is the ability to continually reinvest. So when you think about everything that we're doing, we're giving pref equity, which also comes in form of top-off services. We're bringing money into a deal when syndicators most need it, and then we're giving them the ability to backfill out our investment. But during the time that they hold our money, we're getting a preferred rate of return, which sits higher in the waterfall, which means they're going to pay their debt first, then they're going to pay us, then they pay their investors, and then if there's anything left, they get to split the profits, thereafter. But we get priority as far as when we're getting paid, how much we're getting paid, and on top of that, the ability to continually reinvest. So we have a high deal flow because of our market presence, because we are connected to all of these syndicators and we're bringing value to them. We're helping them go out there and get their own new list of investors and grow their business. And we're giving market intelligence so they can see what's working, what's not working. They can improve their business. If they go through our approval process, whether they get approved or not, they're going to benefit from that, because if they're not approved, we're going to give them the insights of the things that they would need to do in order to raise themselves up to the standard where they can become a PREIshare approved sponsor. Now, if you think about all of those things now, and you get the idea that a lot of our initial investors are coming from the investor pool that Mike Anderson has built over 40 years, a lot of these people are pretty late in their investing stage. And so they're not necessarily looking for a cash flow fund. They're looking for a growth fund. They don't want to put money into a deal and then have it all come back to them, and then they have to go out there and do research to find the next deal. So they have the opportunity with us where they can just put the money in and they can just let that money grow. And at the same time, they can dial in the amount of cash flow that they want to take at any time. If you, I've just been reading or listening to, oh man, his name is skipping me. Anyway, I'm just listening to a book, and he says in there, liquidity equals value. We are built around liquidity with PREIshare. Not only the liquidity that we're giving to the passive investor and to the sponsors, but the liquidity that we are giving to the investors into our fund. Because the way it's designed, it's not a pref rate, right? You don't get a specific amount that we're going to allow you to have over time, and then at the end, you get to reap the rewards. No, you can reap the rewards at any time. Now, the beautiful part about it is, because of the way that we are set up and the high rates of return that we're looking to get and the frequency in which we're going to see cash events, if you leave your money in there, there's going to be a compounding effect. And with that compounding effect, you could potentially reserve the amount that you want to invest. And let's say that's $1 million in this case, because that's what our first investors so far are putting in. They've said, we want to put in $1 million. Now, I think our threshold is $500,000 that you've got to reserve, but makes easy math for $1 million. Say you commit to $1 million. When you commit to that money, you're only going to put 10% of that money in. So you put $100,000 into the fund. You commit that, we take that in, and that reserves your space. And then you have the ability every quarter to decide, do you want to join in on the next investment? So let's say the next investment was another $100,000. and you represent at $1 million, 1% of the fund. That's not a very good example, but anyways, I'm just going to use it anyways. You would have to put in $1,000 in that scenario, right? So you can decide, do you want to add in the additional $1,000, or do you want to sit this one out? Now, if you sit it out, there is no penalty per se, except that somebody else gets to take your spot. And so therefore they are going to get priority on being able to put money in on the next round. Now, the other thing you could decide is I'm going to leave my money in and I'm going to invest in, but I want to take the amount of gain that I've been able to get. I want to take that out as cash flow. At any time on a quarterly basis, you have full control. Do I want to stay invested? Do I want to reinvest? Do I want to reinvest my gains? Do I want to take all of that? Or do I even want to start drawing down on my initial investment? It is fluid. It is liquid. And that's the beautiful part about it. So that's some of the fun stuff that I get to talk about today, and just finalizing the PowerPoint so I can put together that fun pitch. But wanted to come to you guys live because there's some of you that get on these pretty frequently, and you get to stay with me here. And I love the comments. I love the personal messages that you guys send me. So don't stop that. All right. Also, if you are somebody that wants to get invested and you are an accredited investor, because this is only for accredited investors, just go to PREIshare.com/get invested. PREIshare.com/get invested. And you can go step by step through the process. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk to you soon.